that I was about to embark on the biggest fight of my life. And for me, I thought there was no point going in fearing my opposition. Instead, maybe I'd put my time into getting to know my opponent. So I went about doing a lot of my own research, and I got educated by my treating team. And together, we put together a game plan that was going to make me the lean, mean, cancer fighting machine. Alex thought my Kathleen thing was real cringeworthy, but I rolled with it anyway. And the game plan was pretty solid. It involved some egg freezing, some genetic testing. It didn't all go smooth sailing. When my portacath was being installed, 15 centimetre piece of plastic became dislodged and ended up in my heart. And I spent 48 hours in ICU and gave my family a real shock. It was pretty touch and go there for a while. But I bounced back and I went on and I had 16 rounds of chemo. And this was where I started to experience some little victories along the way. So at the halfway mark, my tumour was no longer detectable on my ultrasound. And I managed to keep 50% of my hair due to the use of this sexy piece of millinery known as the cold cap, of course made sexier with a good old Snapchat filter. I had some targeted HER2 therapy. That Perjeta drug I paid thousands for because it wasn't on the PBS, so I paid out of pocket. I had a double mastectomy, a reconstruction and a right axillary clearance. Cancer got a nice little cheeky shot in here by dishing me out some lymphedema. But overall I came out the victor because when my tissue pathology came back, it was free of cancerous tissue. And honestly, that was like the best day of my life. But I had a little secret weapon that was a medicine that I used throughout my treatment. And whilst it could boost my energy and reduce my fatigue, the big claim to fame that this medicine has was that it could increase my survival rate of up to 50%. And it could reduce my risk of cancer reoccurrence by a whopping 30 to 40%. That's pretty powerful stuff. And to have it, I had to give up a bit of my time every week, like I had to with my chemo. And whilst I had to take this throughout the rest of my cancer treatment, the best benefits of this came if I committed to actually taking this medicine lifelong. So I'm still taking it today. And I hope I don't disappoint anyone when I tell you what it is, but it's this bad boy. It's exercise medicine. Some people call it physical activity, but to me it's just like movement medicine. So prior to being diagnosed with cancer, I guess I looked at exercise as being this way to lose weight and keep fit and stay strong, live a healthy, balanced lifestyle, all that kind of jazz. But since I got diagnosed, I literally now view movement as medicine. And throughout my cancer care, it was just as important as chemo, and it was just as important as my surgery. Because I knew that if I could bottle the effects of exercise into a pill, I would be begging my oncologist for it. I'd probably pay thousands of dollars out of pocket for it, and 100% my oncologist would be prescribing it. So hot tip, don't go tobogganing post-chemo. That's stupid. I learnt that the hard way. Movement medicine for me was about not killing myself. It was about not going and running on a treadmill and, being exhausted or lifting heavy weights in the gym. It was about learning what my body needed each day and then actually prescribing myself that movement. So here is my husband, Alex, and I boxing, and he was a bit mortified when I said I was going to say this, but we couldn't get hot and sweaty between the sheets because of cancer drugs, but we could get hot and sweaty in the gym. It's nowhere near as fun, but it did the trick. It was some bonding for us, and this is pretty high intensity, so I could only do this on day 13 and 14 of my fortnightly chemo cycle when I felt like I had energy. And on days two and three, when I was pretty cooked and tired, I'd turn into a crazy dog lady. So I'd walk 300 metres down to the cafe, sit for an hour before I could walk back. And the young girl at the cafe became accustomed to my order because I'd feel really crook and I have that metallic chemo taste in my mouth. And she'd come out and she'd say, "So just a tap water for you and a puppuccino for the dog?" And I was like, "Yes, thank you." I was like, what has life come to? This was we used to go for a weekly stroll, my mum and I, just to get some fresh air, and we'd mix it up. We'd go to the beach, we'd go to the bush. This one particular weekend we were in Tassie. I'd lost my eyebrows and eyelashes by then, so I was wearing falsies. And poor mum, I made her clamber over those rocks on the beach, and she was a bit out of her comfort zone, and she was a bit angry at me. I was a bad daughter. And she laughed. She said Karma got one back because it was really windy and one set of my falsies blew up in the wind and I had to finish off the rest of the trip lopsided. And this was my best invention yet. This was puppy Pilates, and you can do this when you own your own clinic. But so long as your dog was toilet trained and wasn't going to wee on my carpet, all dogs were welcome, and it made it way more fun. So I guess this is the bottom line. Exercise can be fun, and it's about finding what works for you and what you enjoy and building it up around that. And then, of course, there were days where I actually couldn't get out of bed. I was really, really tired and I couldn't do anything. And on those days, I didn't guilt trip myself. Instead, I actually practiced mindfulness and meditation. And at the start, I felt like a complete raging hippie. But I'm actually a huge advocate for it now. It's very powerful, and the effect that it can have on cancer-related fatigue is huge. So I would really encourage you to look into that. And so I guess just as I had enlisted nurses to administer chemo and surgeons to help me with my surgery, I had to enlist my family and friends to help administer my movement medicine because I realised that I couldn't do it on myself. I didn't have the commitment without other people around me. And as I said, it's a lifelong medication. I'm back to working full-time now. I live a very busy lifestyle, and it's hard sometimes to find the time to fit it in. So I ask myself this question often, what drives you, Kathleen? What's going to get you out there? And it's these things. For me, I have a pretty physical job at the footy club. I have to carry injured people off the ground, sometimes on live TV, and if I dropped them, it would be pretty embarrassing. I do it because I like being able to hit the golf ball further than my husband because that drives him insane. It gives me a good laugh. I do it because it's stress relief for me, and it's a nice social way of keeping, in contact with my friends. The top one there is my lymphedema sleeve. So the more I exercise, the actual less I have to wear my lymphedema sleeve, which is really, really important to me. And the bottom one is I've got the best family and friends going around, and I know that exercising will help to improve my survival rate. So I continue to do it for me and for them. And if that wasn't motivation enough, well, I've signed myself up for the 5K in the Carmen's Women's Fun Run, and I've got to get myself across the finish line somehow. I've actually never done a fun run before. So I'd encourage you all to come and join me. It'll be a fun day out around the streets of St Kilda. We can get a nice dose of movement medicine and fresh air whilst supporting the BCNA. And it doesn't matter your style. You can walk, you can run. Everyone's welcome. Although Cal's not welcome because it's a women's only run, so we'll leave him out of it. Just to finish off, as the girls said before from Inform Health, if you're sitting there and you're thinking you'd like to do some movement medicine, but maybe you're not sure where to start or you're pretty tired and you don't know if you've got it in you, there are people that can help you. There's physios like myself who are oncology qualified exercise physiologists as well. Don't go and enlist the help of my physio mates like Katie and Millie, pediatric and spinal physios. They've got no idea. Go and find someone that gets what you're going through and understands. They're the two clinics I work at if you ever want to reach out. Olympic Park and Cuzzy Performance. And to finish off, one of my favourite little quotes is ride a bike, take a hike, lay beside a lake, count the clouds, laugh out loud, and don't forget to just give your brain a break. Thank you.